It's that time again. Uh-oh. It's the Not Quite Right Show. Hi, gang. I am your host, Rusty Mace. Hi there. This is the show that shines the light, breaks through the darkness. Yeah, that's what we do. We're darkness breaker throughers. That's who we are. We're 95.1 FM, 1450 AM News Talk, WDNG. And yeah, buddy, we got one for you. One week, it's really hard to decide what should come out first. It's hard to decide who said something so stupid. We need to bring that out first. However, ding dong, we have a winner. We are the Not Quite Right Show. Hi, gang. And thank you so much for tuning us in. Welcome to our Saturday. We realize you guys have choices and that you don't have to spend your time with us right here, but you choose to. And for that, I humbly say thank you. And yes, there has been a lot go on this week. And we're gonna break the ice on a bunch of it. Yes. But there is some things that people say that are just so stupid that we do need to point it out and say you're an idiot. So, and that's what the Not Quite Right Show is truly all about. It's not bringing you the smart things people say. No, because anybody can do that. No, we pride ourselves in pointing out the stupid crap that people try to shove down our throat. That's what we pride ourselves on. And there was plenty of that. Now, okay, well, let's go ahead and just start with the Rex Tillerson thing and get it out the way before any of y'all just start texting me and calling me and telling me, Rusty, the White House, they in chaos. Rusty, it's chaos all through the White House. And what do you think about chaos in the White House? Well, first off, when I hear chaos in the White House, my mind immediately goes to Agent 86 Maxwell Smart and chaos. You remember that show? You ready? Get Smart, remember that? He was all talking battling chaos in the dome of silence. That's what I wish they had to go over media would be Maxwell Smart's dome of silence, and it just it come down over and then you couldn't hear the stupid crap that they say over the media. That would be nice, but we don't have that. So you say, well, Rusty, what do you think about Rex Tillerson being fired? And I'm going to tell you this, and I hope I don't hurt your feelings too bad, but I'm going to refer you back to last week's show when we had the discussion about the other people exiting the White House, and I will reiterate my answer by saying I don't care. You say, what? I'm sorry, don't care. If he fired him. I do not care. It don't mean nothing to me. I believe he's the president of the United States. He's the one I voted for. I didn't vote for Rex Tillerson. I didn't. Maybe you did. I didn't. Rex Tillerson has never paid a bill in my house. As far as I know, I'd have to. Nope, never did. So I don't care. I think the president has the right to fire whoever he wants to and put whoever he wants to in that said position. And the guy that he's talking about doing it, the head of the CIA, I think is a very good choice. But if he don't, I don't care. I don't know how to be any more brutally honest with you than that. I don't think there's chaos in the White House. I think we elected a president that does a job a lot different than that job has ever been done before, and this is just the way he does it. And that's kind of why I voted for him, because I didn't want it done the way that everybody else did it. And he has come in and he's made changes along the way. He juggled for somebody else. So you say you don't think there's chaos in the White House? No, I don't think there's chaos in the White House. I just don't. I think I think the president is doing what the president thinks he needs to do to get the people in place he wants in place. And I've heard this argument. Well, he's just looking for a bunch of yes men. Have you heard that? He's just looking for somebody to tell him, you're doing a good job. Whatever you think is okay. Have you heard that argument? I don't care. I really, unless he nominates some really off the wall bozo kind of an idiot, which I know is not going to happen, I don't care. Let him put in office and in place who he wants in office and in place, and let him fire whoever he wants to fire. He is the president. It's his presidency. That's what we elected him to do. So if you don't like it, take a pill and have a nice day. That's all I know to tell you. It's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen again. I promise you. I could spend every week on this show, like the mainstream media, and gripe and complain about choices and about firings and about this one's in, that one's out. I could do that every week on this show. The reason I don't do that is I don't care. The president can fire whoever he wants to fire. He can hire whoever he wants to hire. That's just the way it is. That's the way it's been. That's the way it should be. And he should be able to have in there whoever he wants in there. That's what I think. And if you disagree with me, well, that's okay too. But that was not the stupidest thing that I've heard on the news during the week. There has been some very, very ignorant statements made. One of them came from a lady who is a white lady in charge of a big corporation, and she made the statement that her company has stopped hiring white people so they can be more diverse. That is what now I know I'm not gonna make a lot of friends with this, and I know that people are gonna say, Rusty, are you prejudiced? And no, that's not it. If you think that, then you don't know me at all, and that's okay. What I am saying is that is such an ignorant statement to make, that they've stopped hiring white people and they are more diverse. So basically what you're telling me is you have put diversity over quality. I'm not saying that the white people are more quality within, but if that's the reason that you have stopped hiring white people, is so you can be more diverse, it seems logical to me that you would want to hire whoever's best. If they're white, brown, purple, pink, plaid, that's cool. Just hire the best person. That's what it's all about. But put it this way. Let me ask you something. Let's say you're going on a trip, and on this trip you got to take an airplane, and you go to the airport, and you get on the airplane, and they make the following announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now boarding flight Zulu 2 Zulu. Now, the pilot on this plane, he is not the best qualified to be flying this plane. However, it makes us more diverse having this pilot on the plane. What do you think? Diversity over quality. Now, again, quality does not know a color. Quality does not know a gender. Quality doesn't know any of that. Quality don't know white, black, brown, purple, pink. Quality over diversity is what I preach. However, from the left, we are getting, it doesn't matter about quality. The quality of the candidate does not matter. It's the color of their skin that matters. Now, we heard this earlier, a couple of months ago, come straight from the Senate floor, when Chuck Schumer refused to vote for a Trump nominee because he was white. I mean, gang, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. They're not. The left is not even. Let's face it, they've come right out and said it, that if you're white, you're bad. pretty much is what they're saying. And that, like my 17-year-old points out to me all the time, that is racism. I am saying this, that, you know, it doesn't matter about the color of your skin. I can't say that enough. The color of your skin should not matter. It should be the quality of the candidate. Admittedly, I don't think the same. A lot of y'all don't think that way, and that's okay. But quality over diversity, that's what I'm saying. And did you see what happened with my boy Burt Reynolds coming up? You bought all the toys. You got your new smart TV. You got your Alexa. You got your Philips lights. You got your cameras. You got your smart plugs. And now they're all in a bag because you don't know how to put them in. You want it all to work together. You just don't know how to make that happen. Whether it's just installing your TV or installing your security system or just installing your new smart Alexa, and you want Alexa to control your lights, or you want to be able to access this stuff when you're not at home, but you don't know how to make all this happen, give us a call. Yeah, that's right. We're the Not Quite Right people. When your stuff isn't working quite right, we're the ones to call. 252-622-1470. That's 252-622-1470. We're not quite right when your stuff just isn't working quite right. Give us a call. We're going to teach you how to use it. We're just not going to come in, fix it, and just leave you without the knowledge, because that's the key, is getting you the knowledge how to use it once it's done. And we're going to do that for you. 252-622-1470. All right, gang, you've been asking for it. We're going to update you on Thursdays to Surrender the Booty 2. We're going to have a what? It's a street race, y'all, and a daily driver. And in our case, that's a 1996 Buick LeSabre. Can we make it race ready? Well, we can make it look good. Can we make it fast? That's yet to be seen. Join us for all the updates on Thursday. Surrender the Booty 2. Hi, gang. Wanted to pop in here and say thank you guys for tuning us in. We do appreciate it. My Facebook peeps, you guys are loyal, and I do thank you for tuning into the show. Want to remind you to download that TuneIn Radio app, though. That is a great app. You can put it on your tablet, your smartphone, and you can carry the radio station with you wherever. And then you can listen to Dave Mack and Mark and Mack in the morning. Great show. You will not always agree with them, but they will always be right. Just saying. We've got a lot more show coming up for you, and we're going to get back to it in just a minute. Again, thank you for tuning in, and we've got more Not Quite Right show coming up. We are back. It is the Not Quite Right show. Hi, gang. I'm Rusty Mace, your host. We're 95.1 FM, 1450 AM News Talk, WDNG. We have so much to get to today. So much going on. And yes, we are talking about diversity versus quality. And you're saying to yourself, Rusty, you're a white male, your opinion doesn't matter. And that is exactly what I'm getting from the left all the time. Because I am a white male, you know, I can't be fair. I cannot be impartial I cannot be anything but a racist, homophobe guy. I get that all the time. Which, and for those of you who know me, you know. And for those of you who don't, well, you should know. The left has made it a I don't know. I don't know why they have gone this route, but they have. And it seems like, you know, they're not even trying to hide their racism anymore towards white America. There's been so many stupid things come out this past week in the news. Even with Hillary Clinton saying about women, I thought she was a feminist. I thought she was supposed to take up for women, and I thought she was. But you know, stupid crap just comes flying out of her mouth too. Because she let everybody know that the reason that married women voted for Trump was because their husbands or their boyfriends told them to. And oh my lordy, lordy. I could see me. Yeah. I can promise you a few things about the Mace household. I knew. It don't matter what I would suggest. No. Valerie would have voted for who Valerie wants. It doesn't matter what Rusty thinks. It doesn't matter what Rusty. No. My mom, yeah, that would have worked real well. Yeah. My daddy was like I said, we were born and raised in a very strict religious upbringing. But I promise you this, my daddy would not have ever in a million years told my mama who to vote for. That ain't And for Hillary Clinton to say that publicly out loud, where other people could actually hear her talk, that was just stupid. She might have thought that. Well, obviously she thought that. But to actually come out and make that statement, well, oh Lord, have mercy. The ignorant meter pegged immediately when she did that. If somebody had been standing in front of her with a stupid meter, the needle would have gone far right. Bing! Far right. That was stupid. Bing, bing, bing. It would have blowed up in her hand. Why? Oh, lordy. What's so bad about it is that's the way a lot of the left thinks. You know, I don't get it. Now, admittedly, in Pennsylvania, the Democrat is doing, well. Now, that's not going to be figured out for a while yet. I think that has a way to go. But, me personally, in the first place, I don't live there, so I don't care. But whichever the Democrat or whichever one wins, I'm okay with it. As long as that's who the people choose, I'm okay with it. I truly am. Well, what if they elected it? Well, it's them. It's their choice, and I'm okay with it. And as far as the Democrat goes, this guy is pretty moderate. He pretty moderate. At least he ain't saying stupid crap like Hillary did. I cannot wait to see who they run for president against Donald Trump. Now, as you know, it's hard enough to unseat a sitting president. It's only been done a couple of times in the past few decades. And I don't foresee Donald Trump losing. But it is going to be interesting to see who the Democrats come up with to run against it. I mean, that's going to be a hoot and holler. Because, I'm looking down the list, and I'm not seeing, I don't see anybody that really has a chance. I really don't. I think for somebody it's gonna be somebody that's not even on the scene, or that is not highly recognizable right now, that is going to be drafted or pulled into the election. I don't think it's going to be any of the popular right now Democratic names that are out there. I don't see how any of them even come close. They've got too much wrong in the past for the future, as they say. They done dug their pit, and I just don't see any of them coming out and being victorious over Donald Trump in the next presidential. I just don't. Now, could I be wrong? I could be wrong, but my guess is it's going to take a Democratic outsider the same way that Donald Trump was an outsider to come in to even have a shot. It's going to have to take a Democratic outsider with different views and different angles than what Pelosi and Schumer are spitting out, because they're getting rejected pretty heavy. When your own party, some of the candidates in your own party are saying, well, I kind of agree more with Donald Trump than I do Pelosi, then you need to take a look at what you're doing. And that seems to be the case. Now, that being said, it is going to take somebody you mark my words. I mean, we got a couple of years to wait on this, but you mark my words. It's going to take an outsider. They're going to have to recruit somebody. They have to grow somebody. They're going to have to find somebody that hasn't been marred down, mucked in with all the stuff that's going on thus far, with all the Democrats voting against the tax cuts and all this mess with Russia collusion. And it's going to take somebody that hasn't been mired down in all of that to even have a shot. And there's nobody that I see that is out there on the Democratic side that hasn't pretty much just wasted their worth on this at all. So I feel like it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be an uphill battle for them. Now, that being said, that does not mean that the Republicans can just sit back on their laurels and say, ha, 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 here we go. No. And that's, I guess, my biggest fear now is that Republicans are just going to just sit back and go, we got this, and you're going to get shocked if that happens. Because there's a lot of work that still needs to get done, which is why I feel there has been the changes made in the White House that are being made, because presidential policy and his agenda needs to be made the number one priority. And so far, let's face it, it hasn't been. And a lot of that has to do with Congress and the Senate and all the infighting that's been in there. And hopefully after these midterm elections, we're going to see something turn around. Do I think it's going to? No. Do I think he's going to have to fight his entire 4 years? Yes. But we shall see. And coming up, I still got to do my Burt Reynolds thing, man. He was on the TV, and for those of us who grew up in the 70s, 60s, and 70s, Burt was cool. He still is cool, but boy, I got a surprise when I heard his story. And we got more stuff coming up. We're the Not Quite Right Show, and we will be back after the break. You bought all the toys. You got your new smart TV. You got your Alexa. You got your Philips lights. You got your cameras. You got your smart. It's the Not Quite Right Show. I'm your host, Rusty Mace. Hi there. Oh, we just done stepped in it now. We can't turn back. We got to continue on. We're 95.1 FM, 1450 AM, News Talk, WDNG. We were talking about some of the stupid stuff that just flies out of people's mouth. Like the white female executive who said that they've stopped hiring white people so they can be more diverse. which being more diverse is fine as long as it don't come at the cost of quality people. I am not saying only white people are quality people. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying, yeah, there's some. You know, they some. And if you're hiring solely on the color of somebody's skin, you're an idiot. And you're wrong for doing it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm screaming. And then, of course, Hillary Clinton opened up her mouth and the whole skeleton flew out. It was crazy. Why she said, if you missed it, well, she said, and I quote, "We do not do well with married white women." And I'm going to explain why you guys don't do well with married white women in just a minute. All right. But she said, we don't do well with, and you don't do well with married white men either, by the way. She said, because of ongoing pressures to vote the way that your husband, your boss, your son, whoever believes you should. That's what she said. That what she said. In other words, the leading liberal feminist in the country is pushing the ironic narrative that if you're a woman who does not conform to the liberal narrative, you have no mind of your own. In other words, if you're a female and you don't believe what she believes, you're the problem. You don't have a mind of your own. You can't think for yourself. You're an idiot. That's what one of the leading feminists in the country says. So it must be true. Now, and you know, I'm going to explain something to you. And she says she don't. And this is what she said. And I'm what Rusty said. She said it. So if you're going to get mad at her, not me. She said that they don't do well with married white women. She also said, yep, it's conservatives who are the sexist and reliant on perpetuating gender stereotypes. That's what she said, not what Rusty said. She said it is the conservatives. Right after she says that women can't think for themselves, she says that. Oh Lord, I could spend 2 weeks on this. But I'm going to try to hold it down just to one segment of the show. Now I'm going to explain it to you. Hillary, listen up. What I want you to do, Hillary, is I want you to go ahead and turn the radio up and listen carefully. I'm going to explain it to you. Why you don't do well with married females or married males. Why you do better with single males and single females than you do with married. I'm going to explain it to you why. Okay, are you ready? Because once you are married, your priorities change. Once you are married, you think about things and you plan for things you did not when you were single. Things become more important when you are married than when you were single. Things like raising a family, having children, paying taxes, mortgages, things like that. They tend to take a priority. And when your party doesn't care about those things, and they don't care about how much taxes you pay, and they don't care about the education of your children, and they don't care about those things, then yes, those people tend to vote for people who do care about those things. True story. Are you listening, Hillary? And it's not because their husbands told them to. And it's not because their boss told them to. And it's not because their sons told them to. It's because their priorities are different. It is because things now that didn't matter to them when they were living the single lifestyle. Things are different now. And when it comes to the family unit, when you are trying to preserve the family unit, it is the Republican Party that puts that as a priority. And it is the Republican Party who fights for those people. You think maybe that has something to do with it? Maybe? Huh? Do you? And for somebody who has been on television and in countries and all over the world, you would think you would have a little bit of a clue, but you don't, because you continually spit out ignorance. I don't know why. I don't understand it. You went to law school. You was the Secretary of State. You was married to the president. Why you say stupid crap like that? Huh? It befuddles me, and I am so glad that, and I'm happy for the Democratic Party that the Clinton era has got to be finally done. It's sad. It is sad. In that same article, it did say, having come from the left, one of the most constant and appalling demonstrations of sexism in the feminist movement was the degrading and dehumanizing of women with whom liberal feminists disagreed. One of the most famous public, I guess, illustrations of this was brought to us by Gloria Steinem, an icon, and she's an icon of the modern feminist movement. In 1993, Ms. Steinem declared that then Senate candidate from Texas, Kay Bailey Hutchinson, was a female impersonator, someone who looks like us but thinks like them. And these are people who are supposed to be taking up for women. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, you're eating your own, y'all. Holy smokes. I don't understand it. And there's example after example with the people in the feminist. They use the feminist movement when they think it can benefit them, and then they turn around and they eat their own, just like Hillary Clinton has done. It's a force. Most of it's a force. Most of it's just smoke and mirrors. Like, if you haven't figured that much of it out yet, most of it is all smoke and mirrors. The feminist movement, it's what can we say to rile up somebody, because when they're away from it, like Hillary, they turn on it. If they don't do what they think, or if a woman doesn't do what the feminist movement thinks is right, then that woman is outcast and wrong, and doesn't have a mind of her own, and doesn't deserve the time of day, and she and I just think me personally, I think women are just as smart as anybody else, and they can figure out and make up their own mind the way anybody else can, and I think they're doing a fine job on their own. I don't think they need to be told who to vote for. I don't get it. Well, they're not quite right, show gang. And I still ain't gotten to my well, I got 8 minutes left this hour. Maybe coming up after the break, I can get to my Burt Reynolds stuff. He almost made me cry. I love Burt Reynolds. We'll be back after the break. It's the Not Quite Right Show. Hi, gang. We are 95.1 FM, 1450 AM, News Talk, WDNG. The Not Quite Right Show, shining a light through the darkness. Yes, 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 yes. You know, I have, in my career and through my lifetime, I have met several people who parents did not support them, and I am not one of them people. In every endeavor that I have ever been in, whether it be as a police officer or in the Air Force, as a radio announcer, a bag boy at the Red and White, building grain silos at a farm, whatever I have done, I have always had and felt the support of my mom and my dad and my family. I have never had to deal with, you can't do this. I have never had to deal with, that's a dumb decision, and yon, we'll see you later. I never did. And I have enjoyed the benefits of having supporting parents and supporting family through everything. Now, and earlier this week, I think it might have been the Today Show. Burt Reynolds was on there with Hoda, and I watched an interview that Burt Reynolds, you gotta understand, he was a hero of mine. One of my favorite movie stars. He was the guy before Tom Selleck. Called Tom Selleck, looked like with a mustache and stuff. But Burt Reynolds was around a long time, and before that. And he was in movie. I remember Gator, remember that? Remember all the Gator movies? You remember Deliverance? You remember some great movies that Burt Reynolds was in. And of course, you can't not talk about, of course, the Smokey and the Bandit series. And found out watching this interview that the love of his life. The one that even to this day he says he loved her for a long is Sally Fields. That's the love of his life. He said so on that interview, but he said some things that really kind of made me sad because I was listening to him. And for those of you who know anything about Burt Reynolds, know that his daddy was a police officer at one time. And Burt was talking about that, and he talks about how one time he got into a fight. Now, it's sad, and believe me, when I play this, I'm gonna tell you, my daddy would have probably done the exact same thing. I'm not putting Bert's dad down by no stretch of the imagination. But he was talking about when he got into a fight and his dad had to arrest him. And it was a different kind of story.
I'm going to, tribute to you.
That's not the right one. Let's go to the other cut. Let's go to, we'll do that one in a second. Let's do this cut first. This is the one about the jail.
He arrested me once for fighting, and threw us all in this drug take. Mm-hmm. And he came down and he went, "You can go home, your father's here, you go, your father's here." And he looked at me and said, "Your father didn't show up." Yeah, it was tough, slow, but I loved him beyond.
You see, and that even listening to that, I can see my daddy doing the same thing had he been a sheriff or a deputy or a police officer, and had I got into a brawl, I could see him taking the whole lot of us and putting us in jail and calling everybody's parents and getting down to me and go, well, you can just sit there. I can see my dad doing that. But when you think about it, with that's Burt Reynolds. Well, of course, he wasn't at that time. He wasn't the Burt Reynolds. And the interview went on, and as it went on, he started talking about something, and this is the part that really made me sad, because he was talking about the new movie that he's out about, the last movie star, and how a lot of it had to do with things that he was going through in his life. Now, you got to remember, this is a man that was in, like I said, Smokey and the Bandit, Deliverance, the Gator series. I mean, just one after great movies. And he talks about at one point they were gonna give him a tribute, and I thought, well, that's kind of cool. I see. Just this couple of weeks ago, people rolling out red carpets and having all kinds of big old fancy ceremonies and everything. And I said, a tribute for Burt Reynolds, yeah, that would be good. Until he started talking about what the tribute and how it was. And then I thought, oh, that is just so sad. And this is what he had to say about the tribute.
I'm going to, tribute to you, and it's in a bar.
Yeah, you think it's going to be some big thing.
Oh, I thought that Kirk would be there with the thing, all the guys, and it was a disaster.
Can you imagine? I mean, we're talking about, some B actor somewhere. That was the Burt Reynolds. I mean, and I got to say, when seeing him on that show, I had seen him on another show prior. He had been on one of the shows that I watch about building cars or something, and somebody had built a Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am, and they had taken it to his Florida house to have him autograph it. And I saw him then, and I thought, and he walking with a cane, and then I saw him on this interview, and he's old. He's like the rest of us. He didn't stay Smokey and the Bandit. He has gotten old. And, one of the things that I've always liked about Burt Reynolds was his choice in people that he worked with, like Sally Fields. And one of my favorite guitar players and country artists of all time, a guy that I have loved since I was 5 years old, was a guy named Jerry Reed, who played the Snowman in the Smokey and the Bandit series. Best guitar player I've ever heard play guitar. Him and Chet Atkins, the best I've ever heard. And of course, the Snowman, Jerry Reed, he died not long ago. But then when I heard this story about Burt Reynolds showing up for a tribute to him, and it was held at a bar with none of the guys that he thought would be there, I thought, man, that's a sad period on the end of an awesome career with all the people he had helped out. And it just shows how quickly the Hollywood types just write you off. Just write you off like you were never there to start with. Well, Burt, you're always going to be one of my favorites. Always, 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 always. And I wish I'd have known, and I wish I could have got to the tribute. We're the Not Quite Right Show, gang. We got more coming up next hour. We got news at the top, and we will see you after the break. We're the Not Quite Right Show. We'll be back. Looks like it's time to get into the second hour of this extravaganza of a show. Hi there. I'm Rusty Mace. This is the Not Quite Right Show. How are you doing? We are 95.1 FM, 1450 AM News Talk, WDNG. I'm Rusty Mace, your host. This is the Not Quite Right Show. And we do want to thank you for tuning us in. There's so many ways you can do that. Right here on the radio, of course. You can go to our website, WDNGmedia.com. You can check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/WDNGmedia. Or, if you are so inclined, you can also watch and listen there on my Facebook page. That is facebook.com/Rusty Mace 1960, where we live stream this extravaganza of a show for your viewing pleasure. And for those of you who are watching right now, I'm sorry, radio guys, that this one ain't gonna. I'm thinking about a haircut. What do you think? Should I get a haircut? Huh? What do you think? That's always fun. What do you think? A haircut or no? Well, okay. If you'd like to be a part of the show, it's simple. You can text us at 252-622-1470. If you are watching there on Facebook, just use the messenger thing there. You know how to use that, the messenger thingy, and go ahead and do that. And a lot of times, you know, you hear me rant and rave all the time about liberal media, and you know, and I do watch MSNBC, I do watch CNN, I do watch Fox News, of course, NBC, ABC. I try to spend my time on some of all of it. But it never ceases to amaze me. And for those of you who are watching right now, you'll be able to see it. But I'm just gonna go show you the difference in reporting. And why it just drives me crazy. It just does. It drives me crazy. Because all I'm going to do here is I'm going to run down. All right, let's start with, we'll do Fox News. And you pull up the webpage, and this is what the first thing you see is bridge collapse casualties. 4 were confirmed dead. What an awful tragedy that was down in Miami. But, you know, if you look to the right and you see that the editor's picks, you got longtime New Orleans Saints owner dies at age 90. IG could soon release explosive report on FBI Clinton probe as Sessions weighs in on the firing of McCabe. More trouble for United Airlines after dog dies in overhead bin. Man impaled by 4-foot pole through his groin. Ow. Just ow. I don't know. I needed to see that or not. Well, I didn't see it. I just read it. And then, of course, missing Nobel winner found dazed near landfill where wife's body was discovered. And then on the other side of the page, you see, the Shepard Smith reporting on exactly that bridge collapse. Spring break crackdown, new rules for Fort Lauderdale. Then there was something from the Tucker Carlson show about the Parkland was a failure of officers, of which, of course, we have said that, and we'll come back to that in just a few minutes. But Willy Wonka child star appears on Jeopardy. You get the idea. It's a variety of different things. Now, I'm just going to pull up, at the same time, I'm going to pull up the MSNBC site. On their top stories is BuzzFeed demands stormy details docs from White House. Trump reportedly set to fire McMaster. Treasury Secretary McMahon's air travel cost taxpayers $1 million. Trump White House falsely claimed trade deficit with Canada. White House Russia has to decide to be good or bad actor. Then it comes down, and after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stories about Trump, then it talks about 4 killed in the Miami thing, and then goes right back to Trump thinking about firing Sessions. New York Times, Mueller subpoenas Trump organization demands Russia documents. Vance Mueller can absolutely get Trump's tax document. And then another witness to the bridge thing. Now, if you go down to their videos, the first video, of course, is about exclusive Trump lawyer and the Stormy Daniels story. Then Trump to remove McMaster as National Secretary Advisor. But, of course, the Trump House, White House denies that. Then Treasury Secretary Mnuchin's air travel cost taxpayers $1 million video. And then the Trump White House falsely claimed trade deficit. So you see where I'm going with this. Or maybe you don't. If you just watch mainstream media, or if you just listen to mainstream media, it's going to be 90% all negative about Trump. I mean, that's what that's their whole deal. I mean, a story as big as that bridge falling down and killing people in Miami, and it's 4 or 5 stories down on MSNBC's site. Now, I haven't gone to, I mean, those are the only 2 I pulled up at the time. I just happened to pull them 2 up. And the very first story on the Fox is the bridge collapse. And, of course, the very first story on MSNBC is something slamming Donald Trump. Now, I could probably go into CNN and probably most likely would pull up basically the same thing. All I'm saying for this is that you've got media coverage that has one goal in mind, and that is to destroy the Trump White House. And they're even rehashing old stories, trying to make them look new, like the subpoena of the documents from the White House, which, if you have paid any attention to any of this along the way, you know that the White House has been nothing but cooperative with the Mueller investigation and has given them everything that they want. So, they're just rehashing old after old. Their big thing now is the Stormy Daniels story, and the also the story of Donald Trump's son getting a divorce. And you say, well, Rusty, what do you think about that? And I think, well, it's none of my business. It's another one of them. I hate it for him. I'm sorry. I don't care. But I get that a lot. And a lot of people will why are you so pro Donald Trump? It's not that I'm so pro Donald Trump, and I have a hard time, convincing people of that, but that's not it. I am so anti-establishment. I'm so anti the way government has run that I am for this outsider coming in, and I am for change. I am tired of the way it's been done. I think even going back to the tax breaks, I think that was a marvelous and wonderful thing. It helped me out personally. I feel today the effect in my pocketbook. I received a bonus from one of those large companies that handed out bonuses. I got one of them. And I'm here to tell you, it wasn't crumbs. We'll say, well, Rusty, what did you do with that money? You got that money, what'd you do with it? Well, first off, it ain't none of your business. But I'll tell you, I paid an electric bill with it, and I paid a water bill with it, and I bought some groceries with it. That's what happened to it. And you know what I bet? I bet if some of my listeners out there received one of them bonuses like I did, I'd be willing to bet most of y'all did about the same thing. Made ends meet with it. But that's what I did. And you say, how much was it? I ain't going to tell you. $500. Yep. All right, I told you. So there you go. That's what I got. But no, it's not. Because one thing I did learn with that bonus, I just lied to y'all people. I did. The bonus was $500, but that's not what I got, because I ended up paying like, I don't know, $250 of it back in taxes, something like that. I don't know. But anyway, it wasn't crumbs. It wasn't. Paid my electric bill, my water bill, fed me and my young'uns. was not how I intended this segment to go, but there you have it. We're the Not Quite Right Show. And coming up next segment, we have a puppy update. I know you're wondering about my puppies. I understand that. We have a puppy update for you. It's coming up. It's the Not Quite Right Show. Hi, gang. I'm your host, Rusty Mace. We are 95.1 FM, 1450 AM, News Talk, WDNG. So glad you made us a part of your day. And I do appreciate it. I thank you. And one of these days, I'm going to take the time to actually video what goes on in the studio when behind the scenes kind of a look. For those of our people who watch on Facebook, you would not believe some of the stuff that you just would not believe it. And for our radio audience, it would be kind of hard just to listen to, but we're gonna do it. And I do got a puppy update for you. And we're going to get to that. But last segment, I talked about certain news organizations and exactly what their stories were and why I felt like they were all slanted. And I actually did not actually show the guys what I was talking about. So for our guys who are watching right now, I'm actually going to put the web pages up so you'll know, I don't just make this stuff up, that it is out there. And this is the Fox stories right here, just like I told you. Longtime New Orleans Saints owner dies. IG could soon release explosive report on FBI Clinton probe. The top story, of course, right there in the middle of the page is 4 confirmed dead as rescuers sift through rubble of collapsed pedestrian bridge at FIU. You can see for yourself over here the other stories. The Shepard Smith reporting exactly what I said, and spring break crackdown on Roosevelt. Now, this next tab, this is going to be your MSNBC news tab, and right here, exactly what I told you guys. Top stories from NBC News and MSNBC. BuzzFeed demands Stormy Daniels docs from White House. Trump reported set fire to McMaster. White House denies. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin's air travel cost taxpayers $1 million. Trump White House falsely claimed trade deficit with Canada. White House, Russia has to decide to be good or bad actor. Then it gives you the 4 killed in Miami after slamming Trump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. It hits the story about the bridge collapse, then back into Trump, back into Mueller, back into Mueller again. And like I said, and for those of you who are listening, I on the radio, you can't see this, but I'm just scrolling through the videos of the MSNBC where they just slamming Trump left and right. Now let's go to NBC News. That was MSNBC, so let's go to NBC. You get the same thing. Dems say whistleblower emails show government workers targeted for not backing Trump. U.S. helicopter crashes. Mueller subpoenas Trump. Trump Japanese bowling ball. Vanessa Trump files for divorce from Donald Trump Jr. And they do have on the NBC site and for those of you who are watching, you can see it. That is the story of the bridge. That is their first photo of that. But then again, they come down to some of the other, like I said, it's just it just spells out exactly what we said all along about the liberal media. They just don't give their one goal is to bring down the White House or find something bad to report on the White House or something to that effect. Anyways, let me see if I can get my stuff back together here. There we go. And I don't get it. I would think as Americans, I would think it would be nice if we all could just want us all to do good. And I know what you're thinking, Rusty. That's a very simplistic idea. It's a very kumbaya moment you're having in your own brain there, buddy. But instead of just finding the negative in everything, wouldn't it be nice if we could just start looking for the good? You know, wouldn't that be nice? And one thing I have said to myself this week, and I've said it time and time again to myself, and I'm hoping, because I know there's going to come a day when there's going to be another Barack Obama type president that I'm not going to be a big fan of, but I want to keep these same attitudes. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy who says, well, the only reason you say this now is because somebody you like in the White House, and you just for him because you're a redneck white man. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that gives the opponent the same consideration that I'm giving this president. And I think I am. I did not agree. I did not agree with a lot of what Obama did. I firmly disagree with most of what he did. But I'm not that guy that gets on here and slams his administration constantly. I wasn't then, I'm not now. But I want to keep these same ideas, these same principles of working together, when I know in my heart there's going to come a day, hopefully not for another 7 years, when I'm going to be looking at possibly a candidate that I'm not so confident in. And what I like, and what I think makes us different from a lot of shows and from a lot of different people, is and it's all about in this house. Think not that I am the mainstay of the political values in this house, because I am not. I've got one son, his name is Christian, who I love dearly. Me and him radically different in our ideas on way things are, and things just we don't see things quite the same, and we have spirited discussions, and I listen to him and he listens to me, and he comes up to me all the time now. Is here's an idea for your show. I thought about this, and I heard you say something, and we have come full circle. And then I've got Chase, who is very middle of the road. Very middle of the road guy. He's 17 years old, but he has very distinct opinions and very distinct. And what I'm trying to say is, I want to keep that same value going when it isn't our guy that's in charge, because it's not always going to be our guy in charge. What it could always be is us all wanting what's best for America. Now, I know in saying that what I think is best may not be what you think is best. I understand that. But there's got to be a way that we can agree to disagree on some things, but some things are just flat out unmistakable and right for all of us. The tax cuts, for one. And there's all kinds of things looming out there that, honestly, yeah, you know, if I learned nothing else from the last election, I learned this very important thing. Polls don't mean squat. I don't believe them. I don't care if they're on Fox. I don't care if they're on MSNBC. I don't care if they're on NBC. I don't care if they're sky written in the sky, the blue sky. I don't care if you send them to me and my mailbox. I don't care. I do not believe them. I cannot make it any more plain than that. So the last thing you want to bring up with me, if we ever in a discussion, is, well, the polls say. I don't care. I don't believe it. I'm not a big fan of polls, in case you didn't get that. Not a big fan at all. But, you know, there are things that are going on out there that I just do not believe most Americans would agree with, that I think are being perpetrated on America like some of these sanctuary cities, like some of this immigration stuff, I think the majority of Americans are thinking one way, and the far left is just doing whatever they want. We're the Not Quite Right Show. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Yeah, we got to do this thing. Yeah, we got to make our money. You know that. I'm Rusty Mace, your host, and coming up, we got more on the Not Quite Right Show. It's the Not Quite Right Show. Hi there, how are you doing? I'm Rusty Mace, your host. The guiding light that splits the darkness of stupidity. Yeah, that's what I am. Yeah, there's been a lot of stupid crap out there this week. And I guess, you know, if I had to hand out the stupid crap trophy, just based on what we have talked about here today, that trophy, of course, would have to go to Hillary Clinton for pegging the stupid meter time and time and time again. Oh, Lordy. But she's not the only one. There's been a lot of stupid stuff out there. I don't understand nowadays exactly why things make the news, and I don't see the. Again, I just don't believe I need to know everything. I just don't. I don't need to know about Donald Trump Jr. and his wife. Don't. I'm really not that interested. But I also think that we Republicans are in danger right now of becoming lackadaisy. I don't know if that's the right word or not. It's just the one I chose, lackadaisy. I think I don't know why we have gotten this way, because Lord knows we haven't been able to get anything in Senate and in the Congress to, you know, you guys. I mean, look. I mean, we've had some really good successes. We had tax breaks. Yeah, we had the tax thing go through. But you guys have had some colossal failures, which are going to come back and haunt you real soon. For stuff you remember last time y'all was trying to get elected and you promised you was going to do some stuff, and you didn't do it. And so now it's time for us to say, you got to go. Yep. So get ready, because the paydays are coming. All that stuff. I mean, just because you did, I cannot wait to hear these commercials. I know they're going to be out there. I voted yes, so you could have tax reform. Yeah, remember the whole health care fiasco 3 times that you screwed up in? I ain't forgot that either. Remember the DACA situation and the reform on immigration? Ain't forgot about that one either, which is important stuff. And you guys did nothing, just like I said you would. From way back in last November, December, when Donald Trump put the 6-month thing on it, and I said, well, you can put 6 months on it, but it don't matter because they ain't going to do nothing. I was right. Y'all had a solution in your pocket, and you decided not going to do it. So here we sit. No, I ain't forgot it. And a lot of Republicans ain't forgot it. So don't be thinking you got this all wrapped up, because you don't. Because I'm telling you right now, are you listening? You might want to jot this down. Go ahead and, phone the neighbors, wake the children. Rusty's going to say something important. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Let a Democrat candidate come out and tell me that he will support the immigration policies, that he will support Donald Trump's initiative with the guns, that the initiatives he's put in effect about the bump stocks and all that, without raising limits on who can buy a long rifle. I will vote for them in a skinny instant. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're Democrat. You Republicans have lied to me plenty, and I ain't forgot it. This electoral season, I am not voting for a party. This is just Rusty talking now. I am going to judge every candidate on where they stand on the issues. What a novel idea, Rusty. And then I'm going to hold them accountable for it. That's just what Rusty's going to do. I'm sure that not everybody's going to do that. That there's going to be a lot of people that just go, they could care less who's running. They're going to vote Democratic ticket, or they could care less who's running. They're going to vote straight Republican ticket. Well, that don't work for me no more. That don't work. I wants to know where you stand. I want straight answers. And Lord have mercy. I tell you, the quickest way to lose my vote is beat around the bush. Just answers the questions. The quickest way to lose my vote is when somebody asks you, where do you stand on gun control? And then you start talking about welfare or something else or foreign policy. When somebody, when a candidate gets asked a question like, well, where do you stand on abortion? He's only two answers. I'm for it or I'm against it. Right? That's all I want. Straight answer. I don't want to hear no laxy daisiness out of none of you. So in this electoral season, now I'm just telling you how to get my vote. I don't know if it's going to work for anybody else. I'm just telling you how to get Rusty's vote. Don't lie to me, which you're going to do. Don't make up crap about what you're going to do, but you're going to do. Do what you say, which you ain't going to do. I guess if I had my choice, I would just like a bunch of outsiders to come in and start running. And tell me, something new, something that you're not gonna lie about. Like, you want to repeal health care, Obamacare, and stuff. Don't lie to me about that no more. I'm sick of hearing it. I was sick of hearing it before, and then you had your chance to fix it, and you didn't. You had your chance to fix immigration, and you didn't. So I don't. Sorry, I just don't believe anything you say anymore. But that's just me. I'm not speaking for America. I'm just telling America how I feel. And I'm just tired of being lied to. I think there's a lot of us out there like that. I really do. I can't be the only one. I think we I heard somewhere on one of these talking heads on one of these shows talk about the Democratic Party. What they needed is an outsider to come in and have some fresh idea. I think both parties need that. We've been lied to for so long about so much that I don't know. I just don't know where the crap stops and the other crap starts. I don't know. And I think there's a bunch of us feeling let down by our elected officials in Congress and in the Senate, not being willing to even help the president on things that we elected him to do, and y'all guys won't let him do it. So why not? What the deal is? The deal is it's time for some of y'all to go. Some of y'all got to go. Well, not exactly what I intended to go with this segment, but there we have it. There we have it. You know, it was, you know, when I started, I thought, well, you know, I got to give my puppy update to let them know how the dogs are doing. Cause remember, about 3 weeks ago, Sandy, my dog Sandy, I got Tut and I got Sandy, and Sandy had her puppies, and I ended up making them a nice condo, a nice heated condo out in the garage. And I'm gonna have to put some pictures up for you guys so you can see them. These are some cute little blue-eyed doggies. So there, I did my puppy update. We got little cute little blue-eyed. They're purebred golden retrieving Husker shepherds. Yeah, that's what they are. And part fence jumper too, or fence crawler under. Sandy is an escape artiste, I should say. We got more coming up. We got one more segment. We'll be back, gang. We are the Not Quite Right Show, and we will be right back after the break. You bought all the It's the Not Quite Right Show. Well, this one flew by in a hurry. We are in the last segment of the day. And in my attempt to show the disparity and the total want to annihilate the White House of our liberal media, a couple of segments ago I showed different web pages with the different stories just as they appear. I mentioned one article, and I said yes, we will come back to that because of some of the video that has come out during the week, but something I had been talking about and from the very first day, and we are of course talking about the Parkland shooting and how the video showed the failure of the officers to follow protocol. Now, before I get into this, I know I'm not going to have enough time to get everything out that I want to get out, but let it be said before I even start that one thing that has upset me this week is the way that the media has rolled out video after video after video of these high school students in protest of different suggestions that have been made about how to keep them safe, and without, of course, showing the other side of the coin. They have rolled out video after video after video of high school kids, meaning as well-meaning as they are, and they definitely have the right to say whatever it is they want to say, of them getting out and talking about how they don't want to go to school with a armed teacher or, you know, anything that would suit their leftist views. They were rolling them out. and not showing the other side of the coin. Now, my problem with that is this, ladies and gentlemen, as well-meaning as these students are. We had a huge student walkout during the week, and I'm not downplaying what these students said or what they did, but there are things that just, again, escape common sense, and this is all geared to do nothing but cause controversy and anger. Let's not forget exactly what we're talking about here. I heard one student come up there and say that they did not want their teachers to be armed. This was from some school somewhere. Not necessarily, it wasn't Parkland. But there was a student that their school had staged a walkout, and they didn't want their teachers to be armed. There were one after another came up saying the same thing about raising the age to 21. And they have the right to these opinions. Absolutely, they have the right. And they have the right to say it. Absolutely, they do. What I detest is the way that the media played it up without giving the other side any thought whatsoever, and without making the obvious assumption, well, not assumption, but without making the obvious statement that these are, mostly 16, 17, some 18-year-old high school students that are saying these things. And ladies and gentlemen, without being cast as Captain Obvious, it's the parents who make these decisions. These kids, as well-meaning as they are, and they have the right to their opinions, they do not have the life skills or the forethought to make these kind of decisions on their own. That's why we are parents, and that's why we vote, and that's why we do what we do. My kids, and a lot of your kids, they have wanted things in the past that were not good for them. And we said no, or we should have said no. And the problem is, a lot of times we didn't say no. And this is going to be one of those things, in my opinion. Of course they don't want their teachers armed unless there's somebody else standing in the classroom shooting at their friends. They don't comprehend the consequence to what may happen. And so it is left up to us as adults and parents to make those decisions for them. As well-meaning as their protest may be, and they have every right to do that, we also, as parents, have the responsibility to keep our children safe. And without tugging at heartstrings by pulling out a bunch of videos and putting them on TV of some little girl who, as well-meaning as she is, saying that she don't want her teachers to be armed, or they don't want this one or that one, or this age to be able to buy weapons. Do they have the right? Absolutely. They have the right to that opinion. But don't let that right to have that opinion affect the fact that it is still our responsibility to keep them safe. That we may know more than what they know. That we, as adults and parents, have the responsibility. And you, as educators, have the responsibility. If they came out and said, we don't want to take English 4 years, that wouldn't work out so well, would it? And something as important as keeping them safe in school, that goes way, way, way past what they see as safe. That is our responsibility. And as far as the article in the news, I agreed with it wholeheartedly, that the whole problem with Parkland was law enforcement. It was law enforcement that failed. Wasn't gun control. Wasn't laws. It was law enforcement. And that's going to wrap it up for today. We are the Not Quite Right Show. We thank you for listening. We appreciate it. And we will see you again next week as we turn it around and we do it all over again. And maybe, just maybe, Rusty will have a new haircut. We're the Not Quite Right Show. A different kind of a thing sometime today. Hillary's comments. You don't think for yourself, girl. You just do what Bill tells you to do. So what I've got to do now, see, I've got to come up with a new, just for this demo, I got to come up with a new format. I got to come up with a new background. Yeah, it's gonna be a hoot and holler. Man, my hair's getting really long though. Do. So I got to figure this one out. I think I'm going to do like a morning show format thing. Yeah. Maybe get some of you guys to call in. Yeah, we'll do that. All right, gang, that's going to wrap it up for this morning. Anyway, we'll be back today sometime after I get all this figured out and get you guys all wound up again. We'll talk to you later.